Hi, my name is Corey Minter, and I'm the president of Trinity Employment Specialists. Trinity is a staffing organization who staffs in, we have two different departments. One is in our business side that focuses primarily in banking and in finance and in accounting. We also do a lot of positions in customer service, and we've just done a great job in this area, in those industries. And then we have another division that's in the medical field, and we have contracts with most of the major medical institutions in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And we try to make sure that we're a staffing company that, one, always does the right thing, two, puts quality over quantity, and three, we want to make sure that we treat the people that we work with as true human beings and assets of our group rather than just a product. The reason I say that is because a long time ago when I was being recruited, I was recruited by a staffing agency, and I thought they treated me like a daggum number. I just don't want our company to be recognized as that. So those are some of the things that Trinity stands on. And I want to tell you about something that I think happens to a lot of businesses, and when it happens, it just kind of flips them out. It flips out most business owners that I know of, and they tend to blame themselves and just be really hard on themselves. And I don't think that there's any small business owner that hasn't gone through this, and that is having a mishire, and especially in some of your key positions. I want to just throw some stats out at you. I think it's pretty interesting for us to think about these things. 80% of all small and medium-sized businesses have made bad hires at almost every position that they've had in their organization. Isn't that astounding? Like, you would think that after being in business for a certain amount of time, you'd kind of know what you were looking for. But I'm telling you, it's still possible to make a bad hire. And when 80% of all businesses make bad hires in every position that they have, it's time to really start putting some thought process into it. And I'm really talking to some of the smaller businesses out there, because a lot of smaller businesses just tend to really ask some generalized questions. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but you just ask some generalized questions. They weren't really planned out, and you walk back and you're like, I really like that guy. Let's hire him. Or I really liked her. Let's hire her. And you really didn't do a great job of vetting. You didn't really do a good job of creating a system for your hiring. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is creating a system for your hiring. So why would you do that? I think it's pretty obvious just in general thought, but I want to get real specific with why you would do that. Almost every hiring journal, hiring organization, publication that you're going to ever hear of or read is going to talk to you about the cost of having a mishire. Well, if you average them all together, these are the numbers that look to be the most accurate to me. That is, that if you're going to have a mishire for a salaried position, you're probably looking at about a $7,000 loss after you've already paid the individual, with recruiting fees and all of the other things that go into trying to re-recruit for somebody, and all of the recruiting fees it costs you to get that person. But if you are going to be replacing, or if you get a mishire on an executive position, this is a low number. It's kind of low to mid, but a lot of publications claim that should cost most companies around $40,000 for having a mishire for their executive level positions. So having a real streamlined process on how you would go about acquiring new employees, I think is something that is really, really important, not only for the small business owner's sanity, so they don't have to deal with the problem once it's there, but also for just financial reasons, it's a big benefit to getting it right the first time. And putting forth processes that help you to reduce the margin of error. That's really the big thing. So I hope that this helps most of our small business owners today. I'm going to delve into this. I've got about 8 things here that I want to bring up to you to consider. And I probably need to do it pretty quickly if I want to get it within a decent amount of time frame. First thing is, make sure you develop a good system. Like, know what it is, read about it, study about it, and create a good system for hiring and follow it. And don't deviate from it. Follow that system. Because even if you just study stats, doing the same things for every candidate is going to help you to better understand who's best for your team and who's not. That is just a statistics 101 on how to make decisions. So make sure that you develop a good system. Study about it and know it. And know what procedures and processes out there are being claimed by the highest level hiring professionals to work best. And implement those things into your system. World Wide Web is wonderful. You can get anything on the internet just so long as you make sure it's from a reliable source. The second thing is, make sure that you have a well-written job description. Here's the big deal. I wonder how many small business owners might be listening to this right now who have gone in and tried to hire somebody without a well-written job description. AKA, you really didn't know exactly what you wanted this person to do. I work with hiring managers all the time. All the time. They will call me and they don't know exactly what they want them to do. And when you probe them for it, you get different answers every time you talk to them. It's really important that you have a good, well-written job description so you know what this person is supposed to do. It can help you legally also down the line if you have this in place. If the employee starts to deviate from it, you can go back and justify any termination by them not completing the job description that you've given them. The second thing is, have clear expectations, clear and concise expectations about what you want the individual to do. Especially in a sales position, you need to have metrics that you expect them to meet every day. It's really, really important, because if they don't know, they're not going to know what equals success and what equals failure. It's really important, but not only that, you as the boss need to know what equals success and what equals failure, and when disciplinary action needs to take place and when it doesn't. But you need to set the standards, and if they don't meet them, you need to hold the person accountable to them. But if there are no expectations, there's really nothing to hold them accountable to. And so you just end up, you just better cross your fingers at this point if you're at this point, and just hope and pray that this person is good at what you've hired him to do. Third is, make sure that you ask the same questions of each individual. Make sure that you measure them with the same kind of criteria. You don't want to ask candidate one set of questions and candidate two another set of questions because you just hadn't prepared, and you just want to go in there and talk with them and get to know them. It's not an effective way of hiring someone. You need to be able to ask the same questions of each individual. And here's another little hint while you're doing that. Make sure that you do less of the talking. If you're doing more of the talking, especially in small business, I recognize myself trying to do this early on. I would try my best to convince them that we are a great company because we were small, and most likely as a small business we were competing against larger businesses, and we might not have as much to offer. Spend less time talking about you and your company and spend more time asking questions and listening to them. If you'll just listen, you wouldn't believe what they'll reveal to you. So make sure that you do that. It's really, that's one of the most important things on this list to do. The next thing is that I want to recommend is offer them and give them a personality test that is really reliable. There are 2 or 3 that are out there. DISC is the one that we use. There's Hogan Assessments. that that has an office here locally. We use the DISC analysis. It helps us to identify whether that person actually has a good personality fit for the duties that they're going to be doing. For an example, for a sales position, you don't want to have someone who your DISC analysis says that they really have a tough time with no. Well, you don't want to put that person in a sales position. It's not going to serve you well. The third thing is check references and do a really thorough job on doing that. Make sure that the references that they give you are high quality references. And if they're not, well, then ask them for some. And if they can't give you high quality references, I really want to encourage you to move away from that individual. Being able to have good, reliable references, meaning people that have worked with them in the past, and there's a common theme going around that they are a really good individual. And if they can't find someone to say something nice about themselves, man, you really want to move away from that individual. So if you're not getting all 100% positive references, I highly recommend that you kind of cease that and move on to the next candidate. The next thing that I recommend, make sure that you're checking them out online, especially if this individual is going to be representing your company in any way. For us, we have recruiters and we have salespeople, and we even have HR coordinators that are the people that really reach out to our candidates. We do not want someone on our staff that has a profile online that is just way out of whack. It's, you definitely want to let your employees be able to have a life, but you don't want them posting things and having a presence online that is just 100% offensive to what your company culture stands for. You need to make sure before you hire somebody, go check them out and see what they are posting about themselves online, and see if that matches up with your culture, because remember, you're trying to find a culture fit for your organization. The last thing is it's a small world. Make sure and ask the people that you know. Ask them if they know of someone that knows them, or if they happen to know them. It's like the Kevin Bacon game. You're not too many clicks away from almost anyone. Even in a large city, you're not. So I want to recommend that you just ask around and see if anyone that you know knows them, and ask what their opinion is of them. Doing as many checks as you can save you a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time and a ton of grief if you get a mishire. It's so frustrating when that happens. I hope this helps you in your hiring process. If Trinity can help you out in any way, please give us a call. Our number is 918-622-2588, or you can visit us online at trinityemployment.com. Thank you so much.